Night falls in the city, and with it descends a shroud of mystery. There are ghosts in our city of angels, and there are those who hunt them.
Through the Parapsychology Laboratory here at UCLA, we investigate many types of phenomena, a good part of which concerns the investigation of haunted houses, ghosts, hauntings, and poltergeist phenomena. This takes up about 40% of our time, most of which is at night.
Come into the lab and people complain about strange things going on in their houses, and we'll generally answer almost any call referring to haunted houses or poltergeist phenomena. And the procedure we go through is to go out and interview the people and try and determine within that interview whether we think they're crazy or not, or whether we think they're trying to put us on, or whether we think there's something worthwhile. And if we think there's something worthwhile, we'll then place ourselves in the environment until we experience something. Once either Barry or I have experienced something, either visual or audible, we'll then try and start a full-scale investigation.
It's said that, or it's believed among researchers in this field, that this type of phenomena is not dangerous. Well, generally this is the case. However, I myself ran into an investigation back in 1970 where I almost met my own demise. It was a house in Inglewood, very close to the Forum, and we conducted a seance there, and it was a great deal of very hard evidence that the house was indeed haunted. Well, one of the people became possessed, and I'll use that term in quotes because it's a very loose term. But he became possessed to the point where the image we were seeing attacking me was that of an old man with gray hair, eyes bloodshot, bulging, yelling, "Get out of my house." He jumped me, he knocked me down, he strangled me. It took 6 grown men to beat him off me, physically. And after he was beaten off me, half of the people present, there were like 15 people, saw the image, this apparition of this large man just fade away, and beneath him was the 25-year-old grandson who brought us to the house.
The major motivation for people calling our lab and complaining about haunted houses is fear. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes they want to know just what's going on, but generally they're frightened, and that's why they call.
When I was starting to go to bed, and I sat on the end of the bed and winding the clock, and I know I wasn't asleep because I was sitting there winding the clock. So anyway, I put the clock down, I turn around, and here's this, what would you call it, man, I guess, standing in a kind of a flowing robe type of thing. And I grabbed the flashlight, and I turned the flashlight on, and it disappeared. And this started it for me.
Was this man sort of glowing like if he was...
No, just like a person standing there in a robe.
And it was
I
solid?
couldn't see any face.
Looked quite solid to you?
It was solid.
It was a normal human being.
Right. Which made me sleep for a year with a light on.
I was in the bathroom at the time. It was like 3 in the morning, and all of a sudden, our hallway used to be tile. All of a sudden, I heard hard shoes going down the hallway. And the first thing I said was, gee, somebody's broken into the house, you know, and I was standing there. I was in the bathroom for about a half hour just hearing clunk, 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 down, up and down, up and down. Finally get up to get enough to look outside, and I turned down, and all I heard was, you know, the moving down the hallway. Nobody was in the hallway, you know. And then I decided that my parents weren't as crazy as I thought they were.
I was giving my little one a bath, and I came out to put the dirty clothes on the bar, and my older son, Skip, was sitting over here, and I went to put him on the floor, and they just took off and just went, you know, and he yelled at his father, "Hey, Dad, look at that," you know, and it just zoomed.
Do these things frighten any of you? Do they scare you at all? Or?
Not really. I think it did in the beginning.
It's more of a mischievous, prank-playing sort of thing that would annoy you. Would you say more than frighten, or?
Well, I think it's really not annoying. I think it's very interesting.
The original belief regarding poltergeists was that they were basically mischievous, prank-playing ghosts. That's what the German word means. The modern theorists in parapsychology consider a quite different type of belief system is operating here, or phenomena is operating. They believe that there are young children present, pubescent, adolescent children, and the research tends to support this belief. These young children are present with a lot of emotional animosities, belligerence, a lot of very intense interactions. And this emotional interaction will produce a emission of unconscious energy from these children, which will affect matter, objects around them, make them move, affect electrical appliances, make them turn on and off, make things speed up and slow down, affect televisions, affect radios, dishes may explode, furniture may move across the room, cameras may go off by themselves, light bulbs may explode suddenly,
Catching a ghost is more than just an idle dream for Barry and Kerry. They have a plan and the means of enacting it, as you'll see in a moment.
For thousands of years, people have been claiming to experience all kinds of strange things. And the experiences under the heading of haunted houses or poltergeist phenomena have generally been reduced to subjective experiences such as hallucination, fraud, dream, illusion. And what we're trying to do is show that there is an objective reality to this phenomena, and we would like to provide hard evidence to prove this.
There is in our world today a type of imaging process or information processing system, I should say, that mimics almost entirely the appearance of an apparition or a ghost. The model that I'm trying to put forth is that of a hologram. The theoretical relationship between holographic processes or holograms and the investigations that we do, ghosts, apparitions, and poltergeists, is that the way these types of phenomena display themselves appear to be similar to holograms, in that they're three-dimensional forms which sort of float in space, and they have all the physical, or I should say optical properties of real substance, but there's no matter, no mass to them. And holograms seem to mimic this type of information theory or process. But the important thing is that when you take a hologram of an object, you make a hologram of an object, that the laser light bounces off the object that you're photographing, reflects off it. Therefore, that if we were to photograph successfully an apparition with laser light, making a hologram of it, this means that something must have been in that space to reflect the light off of. It is not coming from the object, but the light is reflecting off something, which means for some amount of time in that space, something physical occupied it, or else the laser light wouldn't have bounced off it. This type of proof or verification cannot be obtained with conventional photography, and that's our hope, that with lasers and by using holographic technology, we can supply proof beyond the shadow of a doubt that this phenomenon is indeed real.
Proof of another kind was found in this rather unremarkable house in Culver City, where our ghost hunters took photographs that speak for themselves.
In this first photograph, this is a control picture. We have the room with the only available lighting as a candle. We have the occupant of the house, the corner of the room where the phenomenon appears to manifest. Within a few minutes, she said there was activity in the room, the stench was present, the icy cold came in. We took a picture, we got a total bleaching effect here, or fogging. Within a matter of minutes, the same effect disappeared. Another picture revealed a perfectly normal environment, no fogging, no bleaching, as you can see, and we have no explanation for this whatsoever.
Okay, now in the next picture, we felt a cold breeze of air coming through the door, accompanied by a horrible stench, and we fired the camera in the direction of that breeze. We saw nothing, but the camera picked up a ball of light floating underneath the door. In the next picture, the lady screamed out, "It's right in front of my face." Now, the word face is very important because that's the thing that was bleached out. You can see detail in the curtains here, but her face is totally obliterated. In the next picture, which was shot about 3 seconds later, she said that the phenomenon was gone. It's no longer here, and that picture came out perfect.
Another picture, this one snapped by a professional photographer at that same seance, captured something that no one in the room had seen. An arc of light, which literally frames the subject of the haunting. Sometimes the evidence is even more substantial than a photograph.
Without a doubt, one of our most phenomenal cases took place in Pacific Palisades, California, back in 1970. We investigated a house where they were claiming to see a conquistador walk around. They had cold spots in front of their bed. They had objects moving from one room to the other very rapidly, and the conquistador was speaking to them in Spanish. Well, we never observed anything, but many months later, they discovered that their house was on the site of a Spanish burial ground, and they found the bones and they found armor of a conquistador right under their house. And I think that is very, very good verification of this type of phenomenon.
I'm intrigued by the idea that something survives death, and I think that it's a much better explanation than the idea that we end when our body stops. So as far as whether I believe in ghosts myself, let's say that I'm more intrigued by a theory of discarnate intelligence than I am by a theory of poltergeist.
There are places in Britain, in Hawaii, all over the earth, even in this country, that are chronically haunted. And the phenomena does not typify what you call poltergeist. So when you say, do I believe in ghosts, when someone asks me that question, I come up with saying, perhaps. The evidence is very suggestive that we don't stop our physical, with the death of our physical body.
In this high-speed, computerized, technically proficient world, there are those occurrences which resist explanation, posing questions for which there are no universally acceptable answers. Some will say they are caused by ghosts. Barry and Kerry won't say for sure that there are ghosts, but they are determined to unravel the mystery which surrounds those events we label supernatural. Truly high and worthy ambitions in the spirit of night-stalking tradition.